Hey guys, what's going on? Sherman here. I have practically a brand new knife to review for you guys today. Haven't really seen any videos on this knife yet. Doesn't mean they're not out there. I'm just saying I haven't seen any yet. But this is a brand new knife by Boker Plus. It is one of their new collaborations. As I've said many times before, Boker if it's one thing that Boker does right, they do some really good collaboration knives. Or at least they at least try. Some of them may have been flops in the past, but they at least try. They collaborate with a bunch of very prolific, very talented knife makers, and they're able to give you some really cool designs for not a whole lot of money. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Boker Plus Mini Slik. This is a collaboration with custom knife maker Rob Amsler. And this is a production version of his Mini Slik. So I would advise you to go check out some of his videos. He does have a YouTube account. He doesn't have many videos, but he does have a couple showing his Slik and then showing them kind of compared to his custom models, or this one compared to his custom models. So I'll post a link in the description to his YouTube channel. Definitely go check him out. Seems like a pretty cool guy. But I got this knife a little over a week ago. Blade HQ just got them in stock. Like I said, this is practically brand new. It just did come out. And I had been waiting for this for months. So I got on. I didn't get the pre-order, but I did have the, notify me when it's available thing. And they sold out pretty quick. Now Blade HQ just did get them in stock again. But this is the Tanto model. They also are making this in a Pikal version, which instead of grinds here, the grind is on the spine, like where the spine would be. So it's a Wharncliffe. So even though you're grabbing it like this, like a normal knife, the edge is up here, because a Pikal is meant to be held and have the edge face towards you. It's a particular knife for martial arts style. The first time I ever saw it was on the Spyderco Pikal. But check that out. It's only being sold at Knife Center right now. We All Juggle Knives, aka Sensei Israel, great guy. He informed me that Knife Center is selling those as well. I almost bought it just because it'd be kind of neat to have the pair, kind of have the set. But a Pikal is kind of impractical for me, and for a knife this small, in my opinion, But it is a really cool design. All right, so let's talk about this knife. If you want to see the packaging it came in, check out my unboxing. This came in a very nice cardboard box with foam lining and magnetically closed lid. Beautiful presentation. The box alone had to have cost Boker at least, I don't know, $3, $4, maybe. I would guess, maybe not that much, but still, that's a lot for packaging. So it's a beautiful presentation for a knife you're not spending a lot of money on. Another thing that I've mentioned in the past also is that Boker also does a good job, not only with the collaborations, but they do a good job at giving you a lot of knife and a lot of features for not a whole lot of money. And not a lot of companies do that. So, all right, I'm just gonna jump right into specs. Something I want to try to, kind of do differently. Just get the specs out of the way on this knife first. The blade length on this knife is 2 inches. So that's from that tip of the scale to the tip. The overall length on this knife is 4.875 inches. And the overall weight is 2.16 ounces. So as you can see, it is a very small knife, and it does have some heft to it. But I like that. I like a knife to feel kind of, not just, paperweight heavy, but I like it to feel substantial in my hand. I like to know that I'm holding a good, well-made tool. So I will get into some of the competitor options here in a little bit, kind of compare this to some other small fixed blades. But let's look at it overall. On the scales, you have a nice, I'm assuming it's a sandblasted and then stone washed finish. It may be titanium nitride finished on the blade, that is, on the stock. Just Take a look at that blade. It looks like, I mean, I know the look they're trying to give it. They're trying to give it like an acid stone wash, and it looks beautiful in my opinion. Looks really good. But I'm assuming for the blade, it is a titanium nitride finish that they have stone washed. Like I said, it looks really good. Full tank construction, as you can see. One solid piece of 440C stainless steel. And Boker does their 440C right. They're one of the best companies for 440C in my experience. I know a lot of people are going to stray away from these knives and be like, oh, 440C is stupid. You know, why would I buy that when I could have, you know, AUS 8, 154, or not 154, yeah, HCR 13 MOV, and all that stuff. Well, you know, 440C is still a really good steel. 440C, years and years and years ago, was a premium steel. That was the S30V of the time. And it's still a really good steel. And I mean, honestly, guys, most of us who buy and carry these knives and collect them, we don't sit all day and just cut down cardboard boxes. We don't sit at home all day and cut up pieces of rope. You know, we don't go out and whittle wood all day. Not most of us anyway. I'm sure some of you do. But 90% of us are not going to notice on a daily cutting task basis the difference in the cutting and edge retention of a 440C blade as opposed to a 154CM blade or an S30V or an S90V. We're not going to really be able to tell that much of a difference. Especially not if you regularly strop your blades, which I do, and you should. You should never let your knife get dull to the point where you have to sharpen it, you know, every month or so. Because that is, you know, taking away unnecessary metal. Every time you sharpen a knife, you know, touching it up is a different story. That's just using a ceramic and just kind of touching up the edge a little bit. But you should never let your knife get super, super dull before you resharpen it. You should always strop it on a regular basis because that's just taking the very apex of that edge and you're taking the microscopic teeth like this and you're flattening them out again. So that's going to preserve the steel because it's not removing any steel. All it is taking the steel that's already there and just making it that point again. But anyway, I'm veering off track. 440C is a good steel, and especially at this price point. Would you prefer something different? You know, you might. I would honestly prefer something like AUS 8, but that's just me. 440C works, so. Like I said, full tank construction, titanium handle scales. That's right, these are real titanium, and they look to be sandblasted, or at least bead blasted, and then stone washed. It's a beautiful finish on this titanium. Now, is it 6AL4V grade? I'm not sure. It just says titanium. But it's a really nice finish. It is pinned into the handle with these stainless steel tubes. So you cannot remove them or do anything like that, but you know, you wouldn't want to with a knife this small. You wouldn't want to take the scales off and wrap the handle or anything. It's perfect as it is. Very thick. See, it's a very, very stout little knife, and that's good because it's tiny. So you want it to have some kind of heft in your hand. So I'm glad that they have a thick stock and put some thick titanium scales on this knife. It fits well, looks good, and I like the way those tubes look. It just looks cool. Now the knife, here again you can go back and look at the unboxing. The knife did come with a paracord lanyard, just a simple lanyard with black 550 cord. I took it off and put my own on there with some snake knots in there. And then I put my own bead on here. It is a heat anodized stainless bead. So, anodized it blue. Here's the bead that you get with the knife. This comes on the lanyard. It is an actual anodized titanium bead. I mean, buying one of these anywhere else would be the price of this knife. So the fact that this knife comes with an actual titanium bead is really cool. And the Pikal version of this knife comes with a titanium bead, but it's anodized bronze instead of blue. So it looks pretty cool. But anyway, very uniform look. Like I was saying, it matches very well with the stone washing. It looks very nice. The fit and finish is incredible. As I mentioned in my unboxing, you cannot feel the seams of where the scales meet up with the blade stock. You cannot feel it. It is seamless, and you can barely see the difference. So Boker did a great job with the fit and finish of this knife. Here again, another thing I was talking about with value. I mean, you're getting titanium scales, a titanium bead, a hand-wrapped lanyard. Here again, this did not come with the knife. This is one I did aftermarket, but still. And like I said, very low cost. Something cool about this, I'm not sure how many of these are, well, obviously there's 300 of them, but you know, I don't know how many stores are selling these. It's the experimental run, 214 out of 300. I don't know if I already mentioned this or not, but I ordered this off Blade HQ. I don't know if they have all these because they're the only site that I've seen so far that has this knife. It and Knife Center. So, you know, I mean, if you order one, you may not get an experimental run version, or you might. I'm really not sure. You know, I'm not sure if Boker sent out just 300 of these so far, or if they sent out several thousand. And, you know, I just happened to get one of the first 300. Top here you see 440C. They stamped that on there. You have these nice cutouts in the titanium, both sides. It looks really neat, very uniform, just very cool. So you have these little milled pockets. And not only does it just give it a little bit of personality and just a little bit of looks, but it gives you these very nice grooves down here from when you're holding the knife. Your finger locks in. It just gives you a lot of traction. And it's much needed, like I said, for such a small knife. And in reverse grip, it's very nice to have that. And it just looks cool. It looks very modern and mechanical, and I love that style. Steampunk almost, I don't know, but it does look very mechanical. And I love those kind of knives. It kind of reminds me of something you'd see from quartermaster knives. Alright, so anyway, get a better look at that. See the Boker Plus logo right there. And then there's Rob's logo right there, Amsler Knives. So, the edge I did reprofile. No, it's not a great job. But here again, you can go back and watch the unboxing if you want to see the original edge geometry of this knife. It was okay. It came decently sharp. It came sharp enough to be able to perform most of your everyday cutting tasks with no problem. But it was a very utilitarian edge, and I like something a little bit sharper than that. So I reprofiled it. It has a newspaper cutting edge on it now. But very nice. Like I said, I love the profile of this knife. The fit and finish is incredible. The ergonomics they're decent. You know, like I said, it is a small knife, so you're limited to the positions you can hold this in, and you're limited to your grip. Now, I can get a 3-finger, almost 4-finger grip on this knife. I have large-sized hands. My fingers aren't that wide, but I do wear a large-sized glove. So probably in finger thickness, I probably wear about a medium, if you want to try to judge on that, see where your fingers would be on this knife. But it's definitely helpful with the lanyard. I would recommend keeping the lanyard it comes with on it or replacing it with one of your own. As you can see, that has that giant tube in the back, so you can put 550 cord through there with no problem whatsoever. So I do recommend having a lanyard on this. With that, you do get a 4-finger grip very comfortably. You can kind of choke down on it so that your ring finger's in those grooves, have your index finger in there, and your thumb resting back here on the spine. There's no jimping, but it's not really needed with such a small knife. You get the perfect amount of control with it. Now, the most comfortable way I've found to hold this knife so far without any hot spots is that I'll kind of hold it sideways. Grab this part down here, the bottom part, with these 2 fingers, and kind of rest my thumb sideways on the scale, almost like a pinch grip. So that way there are no hot spots. I can feel some excellent traction with these little milled out parts right there. Like I said, kind of like a pinch grip, and I'll do the cutting like that, and it's extremely comfortable that way. One hit I will give the ergonomics is that these corners right here are kind of sharp, and I'll probably sand those down myself. So when you're holding this, it kind of digs into my finger bone a little bit. Not a huge deal. Like I said, it is a small knife. You're not going to be doing a lot of hard cutting with it. So it's just something I did want to note that it's a little uncomfortable. But it is cool how all the edges of these scales are very nicely chamfered all the way around, both sides, obviously chamfered, except that corner right there. So I might do that myself, just kind of sand down that corner and that corner. But these edges are not sharp. It just acts like really good jimping for your fingers back here. And then reverse grip, I actually saw this on Rob's YouTube channel, him grabbing it like such and having the lanyard between his fingers. And he's right, it does give you excellent ergonomics. And this knife is very comfortable in reverse grip. It's actually more comfortable, and I think that's how he designed this knife to be held, to be kind of used as a last-ditch self-defense knife. And I mean, really look at it. It looks like a mini shiv. Or actually, as I've kind of I've kind of nicknamed it on Instagram, the elegant shiv. It just looks really cool, but it is very pointy. Let's get a good look at that tip. Very pointy. Pretty thin blade stock, but not too thin. You can still do a lot of, I'd say, medium cutting tasks with this. Look at that. So, yeah, this is an excellent utility knife, you guys. But also, it might be a pretty good last-ditch self-defense knife. Is it perfect? No. But, you know, it's also something else I did want to mention. A lot of people may not like the fact that this is a Tanto blade. But, I mean, really, I think it's just fine. I like Tanto knives for utility. And like I said, this is going to probably be the main purpose for this knife. And I think it's cool. I love the traditional Tanto style of this, where it has much more of an aggressive sweep forward on that secondary edge. Whereas most Americanized Tanto designs is much more steep angle. So I like the more traditional Tanto style. Very nice. So it does have a little guard here, so your finger won't slip forward if you have to do some stabbing with this knife. But yeah, excellent utility knife. I've been carrying it for the past week or so as my primary EDC. That's right. This is the very first time I have ever carried a fixed blade primarily for everyday carry. And you know what? I've been carrying this in my pocket. Put it in the sheath, throw it down in my pocket, I'm out the door. Works fine. It's the only knife that I've ever done that with. Only fixed blade, I should say. And Rob, it was really cool. He actually commented my unboxing of this knife and said that's how he carries his. He carries his mini Slik, or his Slik, just in the pocket. He says he's not a neck knife guy. And honestly, with this knife weighing, 2.16 ounces, it weighs more than an Essie Azula, and all the weight is in the handle. So it kind of flop around on my neck and bang into my chest. And I'm not saying you can't carry it as a neck knife. Try it. You may like it. It's going to be different for everybody, obviously. Everybody has their own opinion. But personally, I don't prefer carrying this around the neck. I tried. I preferred carrying this down in my pocket. And the way it was weighted, it was seated into my pocket and just kind of lean up against the corner. It wouldn't, dig into my pocket and kind of get sideways and make my pocket bulge out or anything like that. It pretty much stayed in the same position that I put it down there in. And had the little lanyard sticking up, so I just grabbed it, pull it out, and I'm good to go. Because let's be honest, guys. Yes, I love carrying big knives. That's just me. I carried a ZT-0561 for over a year, and I loved it. I'm not a stickler on the weight. I'm not a stickler on the size. If I like a knife, I'm going to carry it. Period. I enjoy knives. I enjoy playing with knives. I don't limit myself to how much I will carry. I don't limit myself to, ounces or size. If I like a knife, I'll carry it. But the point I'm getting at is that if you think about it, how much knife do we really need? We have knife sizes that we prefer, but how much blade length do you actually need? Me personally, my everyday cutting tasks involve opening packages. They involve opening mail. They involve maybe cutting down a box or two. cutting tape, cutting open food packaging. And you don't need a 4-inch blade to do all that. This little 2-inch blade worked perfectly for me. So, I did not feel undergunned by carrying this knife as a primary EDC. Is this knife for everybody? No, it's not. And I would honestly have a hard time recommending it to people for an everyday carry. Because I'm into small, chunky, differently designed knives. That's just me. I'm into these unique little fixed blades. You know, I'm into these kind of, I guess, aggressive designs. That's just me. I've been enjoying carrying this because I like to take it out, I like to look at it. I like the way it feels in hand. I like how it performs. But like I said, it will not be for everybody. You know, some people are going to think it's too heavy, it's too small. They don't like Tantos. They don't like the ergonomics. And I completely understand that. That's why I don't really think I can recommend this for just anybody to everyday carry. I don't think it's overall, you know, one of the best everyday carry small fixed blades on the market. However, I think it is one of the most unique small fixed blades on the market and one that gives you some of the most value. So I will say that. Let's talk a little bit about the sheath that it comes with. This knife comes with an actual Kydex sheath with 4 little steel eyelets. And like I said, you can run paracord through here, carry it around the neck if you want. You can lash cord through there, carry this on the belt. You can mount a tech lock on here, carry that on your belt if you wish. But like I said, I just pop it in here and drop it in my pocket. Drop it like it's hot. But the way it's designed, and Rob actually does this on his custom Sliks, is that it has these little indentations in here, probably made by hand. And what they do is they fit into the eyelet right there. So there's no pressure on the blade, or there's no wear down here by the tang and the ricasso. So the fit is perfect. There's no positive snap, but I mean, there is absolutely no wobble inside this sheath at all. What you're hearing is just the lanyard. So absolutely no sheath wobble whatsoever. The blade is not, you know, the sheath's not pressed up against the blade, so when you extract it, it's not going to shave off layers of Kydex. It's a very, very well-made sheath. Comes out very easily, but like I said, it's still secure. Are all of them going to be like this? Probably not, because they're all hand fitted to the knife. Some of them may fit a little tighter, some may fit a little bit looser. But the fit and finish is great. The edges are nicely finished and sanded. And just good fit and finish overall. So, price on this, I know I kept talking about value. Blade HQ, where I got this from, are selling these for $31.99. So I got this for about $37 after shipping, and it's about the same price everywhere. And I think that is a great value. Like I said, you're getting actual Kydex sheath, you're getting titanium scales, 440C, it's an okay steel. You're getting a hand-wrapped paracord lanyard. You're getting an anodized titanium bead. And you're getting really good fit and finish. And you're also getting a custom knife maker's name on the blade. In my opinion, that is just incredible value. Like I said, Boker does it right. Now, real quick, I know this review is kind of running long. I feel like Jim Skelton now. That wasn't a hit, buddy. You're great. I love watching your videos. All right, let me just show you a few other options for you guys if you're into the small fixed blades. Here's my CRKT Fultz Minimalist. Pretty much the exact same size. Now, the Fultz Minimalist is going to be a lot lighter, a lot more slim profile. Everything's more rounded and not as futuristic looking. Still great. I love them both. Here's another offering from Boker, my other favorite small fixed blade by Boker. Here again, Kydex sheath. This came in a nice presentation box. This is the Boker Plus Rhino Calf. Stonewashed 440C. I did the custom paracord wrap and the lanyard because this is an incredibly small knife. Much smaller than the mini Slik. See? And my favorite small fixed blade, of course, the SE Azula. Is my Venom Green Blade HQ exclusive with the Tough Thumbs scales. Let's kind of try to move these. As you see, it's obviously much bigger than all of them, but as you can see, I do love my small fixed blades. They definitely have a purpose in my collection. They have a purpose in my everyday carry role. You know, like I said, sometimes you don't always want a pocket knife. Sometimes you want a pocket knife and a neck knife or a smaller pocket fixed blade. Fixed blades are just great because they take out all the variables. You don't have to worry about lock geometry, lock failure. This knife obviously is never going to fold on you. The knife would have to literally break in half, which it's never going to happen. So you get that reassurance. You don't have to worry about pivot tension. You don't have to worry about your screws stripping or losing a screw. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's just, it takes all that guesswork, it takes all that uneasiness, I guess, away. You can do extremely hard cutting tasks with these that you wouldn't normally do with a folding knife. So, like I said, I do have a hard time recommending this knife for everyday fixed blade carry with knives like these that are a little bit more conventional. But if you are into really neat, unusual knives like this, go for it. You will, I think, love it. Like I said, the fit and finish is great. You're getting a lot for your money. And with mine, I'm actually going to be boxing it up and shipping it off to Mr. Esteban, Thai Survival. I have a wicked idea in mind to customize this knife, and it is going to look incredible, I think. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions or comments, of course, don't hesitate to leave them down below, guys. Alright, everybody, hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay sharp, and God bless. Sherman614, peace.